No, I don't think that's where the power supply should go, Robbie. I think it's much too close to the auditory sensors.
You're suggesting the frequency of the electric current's hum will mess with the sensors?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Fair point. I'll go back to the wireframe model and locate a better spot for the power supply. Boy, I sure am glad you caught that before we have to leave for our summer sleepaway camp.
Yeah, that would be tragic if we left it like this while we... What did you say?
I said, I'm glad you caught that before we left. Now we won't have to be too far behind when we get back from sleepaway camp in 3 weeks.
Sleepaway camp 3 weeks?
Affirmative. Mr. Eugene signed us both up for Camp Falling Pines. It's supposed to be a wilderness camp or something like that. Didn't Mr. Eugene tell you about that?
Grandpa Eugene! Now listen, Grandpa Eugene, we don't really have to do anything drastic like send me off to some sort of wilderness camp in the middle of nowhere where I'll get eaten by bears, mountain lions, or worse, wild turkeys.
Wild turkeys?
Yes, they're so weird looking with their blue faces and their red snoods.
Quit being so dramatic, Chester. I signed you up for this camp because it would be good for you to get to know the great outdoors better. You know, enjoy the beauty of God's creation. Besides, you stay too cooped up in that garage.
But the garage is safe, Grandpa Eugene. I can stay there, work on my inventions, and never have to worry about wild turkeys.
Chester, there's nothing more to discuss. Now go pack your bags. We are leaving in an hour.
Good. That'll give me time to write my final will and testament.
Have fun, you two. Remember, this will be good for you.
Boy, he was sure in a hurry to go. You'd think he was looking forward to us being away from the house.
Well, there was that one incident this summer when you melted all the windows in the house with your sonic fuse ray.
Robbie, we both agreed we'd never speak of that again. Well, looks like we'd better find our bunkhouse and put our stuff down before we have to meet for camp orientation. It looks like we're in the... No, not that!
What's wrong, Chester?
Robbie, we're in the wild turkey bunkhouse!
Wow, this is a pretty nice place. Not as many dead bugs on the floor as I thought there would be.
Yeah, I guess it's not too bad if you like this kind of thing.
Oh, hello there. I am Robbie, and this whiny little fellow is Chester.
Hey! Excuse him. Sometimes his programming needs adjusting.
That's okay. It's extremely cool that you got to bring him. He's definitely the most advanced robot I've ever seen. My name is Ezekiel, but they call me Zeke.
Glad to meet you, Zeke. Question. Were you forced to come here? If so, maybe we could form a coalition. I think there's enough stuff in here for us to barricade ourselves in, and no one would ever be able to break through.
Well, actually, I wanted to come here. I love everything that has to do with nature.
Huh, you don't say.
Maybe if you hang out with Zeke, his outdoor skills will rub off on you.
Boy, wouldn't that be something? If I came back home a real outdoorsman, Grandpa Eugene wouldn't know what hit him.
Hey, that sounds like a great idea. And I certainly like a challenge. I'm up for teaching you what I know. And before you know it, you might even start having fun. Anyway, we'd better be going. I think orientation is starting soon.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Camp Falling Pines. I'm your camp counselor, Bigfoot, but you can call me Mr. Foot or Counselor Foot. Now then, before we proceed with the camp's itinerary...
You're a Sasquatch.
Yes, I am. Now then, as I was saying...
And everyone is okay with this?
Not usually, but people seem to get over it pretty quickly. Now, as I was saying, here at Camp Falling Pines, We specialize in teaching kids how to appreciate the wonder of nature that surrounds us every day. However, I am obligated by law to warn you that the trees in Camp Falling Pines do tend to fall quite suddenly. There's a reason our camp motto is Timber!
Chester, you don't seem surprised that our camp counselor is Bigfoot?
When you accidentally teleport a Yeti from Nepal, who then incidentally has to live with you, nothing really surprises you anymore.
I have so many questions about so many things.
So I think I speak for everyone here. Right. I think I speak for myself when I say, welcome to Camp Falling Pines. And seriously, if you see a tree about to fall, don't keep it to yourself. Now then, off to your bunks. Tomorrow is a big day.
Woohoo! Let's get going. I need to set up my Wild Turkey Defender 3000. It's a glorious array of modified bug zappers that will defend our cabin from any and all manner of turkey invasion.
Wild Turkey Defender 3000? That's a good one, Chester. You're funny.
I'm definitely not kidding. Every wild turkey here should live in fear.
Seriously, Chester, you can't do that to wild turkeys. They are very important to the forest ecosystem. Boy, I slept like a champ through the entire night. I feel like $1,000,000. There sure is nothing like sleeping in nature. How did you sleep, Chester?
I'm so incredibly tired. I don't think I slept more than 30 minutes last night. I was so worried a wild turkey was going to peck my face off because someone wouldn't let me set up my Wild Turkey Defender 3000.
Well, I slept well if anyone is interested.
You don't sleep, Robbie.
Well, then my batteries recharged well last night.
You guys are much too happy this morning.
Good morning, campers. Hopefully you all slept like a log last night. Get it? A log? Since you're at wilderness camp? Anyway, welcome to our Nature 101 class. Today we're going to talk about the nature that's all around us. And I know we're all excited to learn about the neat animals that live in these woods, like the wild turkey. Yes, thanks for your enthusiasm, young man. But before we can get into all that, we need to learn what type of forest we are in. So let's jump into that. First, let's talk about what a biome is. Biomes are certain areas of the world with similar weather, animals, and plants. There are several different kinds of biomes, like tundra, the rainforest, and the desert. But here in Georgia, we live in a biome called the deciduous forest. Deciduous forests have 4 distinct seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall, and feature quite a wet environment. On average, deciduous forests have around 60 inches of precipitation a year. As for the trees and plants that grow in deciduous forests, while we do have some pine trees here at Camp Falling Pines, trees with leaves, also called deciduous trees, dominate the landscape. The leaves of deciduous trees lose their chlorophyll, which gives them their green color, causing them to turn beautiful shades of red, yellow, and orange before they fall to the ground. Do you like breaking leaves into piles and jumping into them during the fall? Then be thankful you live in a deciduous forest biome. So now that we know about what surrounds us, we have a nice base to learn about the rest of the nature here at our camp. But before we move on to specific plants, what to touch, what to definitely not touch, does anyone have anything they'd like to add about what we've talked about?
I would, Mr. Foot.
Yes, you back there. The boy who loves wild turkeys. What's your name?
My name's Chester Stevenson, sir.
All right, Chester. What would you like to add?
Well, I would just like to mention that you left off some important details about nature and biomes, like who actually created them all.
Interesting. Go on. Okay,
thanks, Mr. Foot. To see who created the nature that surrounds us, all we have to do is look to the Bible. Genesis 1:1 says, "In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth." So right there, God created everything. Genesis 1 goes on to show us that God created everything in just 6 days. Let's go through them quickly. On day 1, God created the heavens, the earth, light and darkness, also known as day and night. On day 2, God created the sky and the seas. On day 3, God created the dry land and the first forms of life, plants and trees, like the ones around us here at camp. On day 4, God created the sun for the day and the moon for the night, and also the stars and all the other planets. On day 5, God created all the birds of the air and all the creatures in the sea, from the giant squid to the electric eel. On day 6, God created all the creatures on the land, from the mouse to the Argentinosaurus. And then, also on day 6, God created man. And on every day of creation, he saw that it was good. So you see, everyone, while it is important to know what biome we're in and what all that means of the nature around us, it's more important to know where it all came from and who made it all. God. God is the creator of everything.
I 100% agree. And to me, that is why nature is so amazing. Sure, nature is beautiful and adds a lot of color and wonder to our lives. But it becomes a whole new level of awesome when we look at nature as God's creation and marvel at his handiwork and praise him for it. After all, the Bible also says in Psalms 95, 1-5, "Oh, come, let us sing to the Lord. Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. Let us come into his presence with thanksgiving. Let us make a joyful noise to him with songs of praise. For the Lord is a great God and a great King above all gods, and his hands are the depths of the earth. The heights of the mountains are his also. The sea is his, for he made it, and his hands formed the dry land." We can appreciate the value of nature better if we first appreciate the one who created it all in the first place.
Wow, Zeke, I'm impressed. You know, we may have a lot more in common than I originally thought.
Well, you two, you certainly have given us a lot to think about today. And would you look at that? It's already almost time for lunch. Time certainly flies when you're having a blast. You two, Zeke and Chester, I'm putting you both in charge of mealtime prayers for the rest of our time here at Camp Falling Pines. Are you two boys up for such a responsibility?
Sure. Yes, we are. Sure.
Yes, sir. I'm glad to be given the opportunity. Thank you.
What about me? What task may I take on?
You? Do you have a microphone input?
I do.
Good. Then you can serve as their mobile sound system.
Gee, I am torn between being honored and greatly disappointed.
Well, that settles it then. I look forward to seeing you both. I mean, all three of you in action today. Now then, let's all head over to the mess hall and eat some delicious grub we have for lunch today.
Oh, good. I'm starving.
Me too. Wonder what we are having. I'm so hungry. I could eat a whole cow.
Well, I don't know about a cow, but we are having one of Camp Falling Pine's signature dishes. Cow ant jelly sandwiches. We have so many ants around here that we catch some, mash them into a little paste, and add a little sugar, and voila. Cow ant jelly sandwiches. Just be careful of some of the chunks. It's hard to remove all the tiny little poisonous pincers.
That's a joke, right?
I wish it was. Last year half my face went numb from just one sandwich. But overall, most people handled it just fine.
You don't seem shocked by this either.
Listen, when you've eaten as many weird, half-turkey, half-random animal kingdom creature concoctions my Grandpa Eugene makes for Thanksgiving every year as I have, all other forms of food tend to go down easily.
Of all the wilderness camps in Georgia, my parents had to pick this one.